It started with a garage sale. Tyler was just a junior in high school, wandering through his neighbor's junk-strewn driveway looking for old vinyl or horror VHS tapes. Instead, he found an old TV, boxy, heavy, and thick with dust. The brand name was rubbed off, and it had no HDMI ports, no buttons. Just one giant dial that clicked into place with a satisfying clunk. The seller, an old man with nicotine-stained fingers, grinned. "Only one channel works." "But it's never boring," he wheezed. Tyler laughed, paid $10, and lugged it home. His parents rolled their eyes, but let him haul it to the basement. That night, he plugged it in. The screen lit up with grey static, then flickered into focus. A grainy black and white image appeared. A dimly lit bedroom. His bedroom. Tyler stared. On screen, he lay sleeping. Same bedsheets, same posters, same twitch in his leg. It was like watching himself from the ceiling corner. Weird. Maybe it was a feedback loop from a hidden camera. But he hadn't installed one. He clicked the dial. No other channels, just the same view, same room, same him. He turned it off. That night, he barely slept. Every creak in the house felt louder. Shadows stretched longer. The image haunted him. Was it a prank? A glitch? The next evening, curiosity gnawed at him. He turned it back on. There he was again, asleep. Only this time, the on-screen version of himself stirred, rolled over, then sat up, wide awake, staring at the camera. Tyler wasn't moving, but the version of him on the TV raised its hand slowly, and waved. He yanked the plug from the wall. The screen went black, silence returned, but the echo of that grainy wave followed him into sleep. Something wasn't right, and the channel was just beginning. Asterisk the next day. Tyler avoided the basement. He busied himself with school, homework, even offered to mow the lawn. Anything to not be alone with that screen again. But the image of his double waving, that eerie, knowing wave refused to leave his mind. It was as if the thing inside the TV knew he was watching. That night at dinner, he asked casually, "Hey Dad, ever hear of an old TV showing, like real-time stuff, without a camera?" His dad chuckled. "Sounds like something from a Twilight Zone rerun." Tyler forced a laugh. "Yeah, just curious." At midnight, when the house fell quiet, he crept back to the basement. The TV sat in the dark, a silent box of shadows. He plugged it in, hand trembling slightly. The screen jumped to life, static for a moment. Then his room, same angle, same bed, only this time it wasn't empty. The version of Tyler on screen. Tyler was standing in the middle of the room, back to the camera. Not sleeping, not waving, just waiting. Tyler's mouth went dry. He checked his actual room upstairs, empty, bed untouched. When he came back down, the figure on screen had moved closer, still turned away, but slightly tilted, like listening. Tyler reached for the dial. Maybe turning it would break the loop, but his fingers froze. On screen Tyler spoke, muffled, almost lost in static, but audible. "Don't." Tyler stumbled back, knocking over a box of comics. The sound didn't faze the figure. It just stood there, breathing softly, as if in sync with his own panicked breaths. Then, slowly, the figure turned its head, just enough to show half a face. His face. Tyler ripped the plug from the socket again. Darkness fell, but now the silence felt full, as if something else was in the room with him, watching, waiting. Tyler didn't go to school the next day. He stayed in bed, clutching his blankets like armor. His mom knocked on his door a few times, but he muttered something about a stomach bug. That wasn't entirely a lie. His stomach had been twisted in a knot since he saw his doppelganger on the screen. When night came, he lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Every small sound put him on edge. The hum of the refrigerator downstairs, pipes creaking, wind brushing tree limbs against the siding. But nothing from the basement, no static hum, no light. He'd unplugged it. At 3:07 a.m., Tyler jolted awake. Not from a nightmare, from silence. The house was too quiet. No hum, no wind. Just a pressure in the air, like a held breath. He got out of bed and crept down the stairs. Every step groaned. When he reached the basement door, he paused. It was slightly ajar. He remembered shutting it. Not just that, locking it. He opened the door slowly. Cold air greeted him. The basement was dark. But as he stepped down, he saw the faint glow of the TV, even though it was unplugged. The screen showed a new image, not his bedroom, not even his house. A long hallway, camera tilted low, like it had fallen. At the far end, a figure, small, barefoot, facing the wall. It turned slowly. Tyler gasped. It was him, younger, maybe 7 or 8, dressed in old pajamas he barely remembered owning. His eyes were hollow black pits. A smile spread across his face, too wide, stretching unnaturally. The child version lifted a finger and pointed at the screen. The image on the TV zoomed suddenly and violently toward the lens. The child's mouth now gaping wide in a scream. The screen went black. Tyler staggered back, heart pounding. From the darkness of the basement, a small voice echoed, "Play with me." He slammed the door and ran upstairs, locking himself in his room. But he knew now this wasn't just a haunted TV. It was something much worse, and it had seen him first. Tyler didn't tell anyone who would believe him. Haunted televisions, ghost kids, in old pajamas, it sounded ridiculous. Still, he knew better than to plug the TV back in. But it didn't matter. That night, it didn't need power. He woke up gasping, like someone had punched the air out of his lungs. A buzzing hum filled the room. Not mechanical, more like a swarm of wasps deep inside his ears. He scrambled for his phone. 3:07 a.m. Again, the hum grew louder. A new sound layered beneath it, a whisper. Coming from the bathroom. He got up, barefoot, cold, floor shocking him awake. His hand trembled as he reached for the bathroom door. Inside, the mirror was lit from behind, soft glow, like TV static. No reflection. Instead, the mirror showed a room. His room. The same angle as the TV feed. But this time, it wasn't empty. The child version was there again, now pacing, dragging something. A thick electrical cord. Tyler stepped back. The reflection tracked him. The boy stopped pacing, raised his head, and stared directly at him through the mirror. Then, a whisper. "We see you now," Tyler screamed. The mirror cracked from the center outward in the shape of an eye. His mum burst in, flipped on the light. Everything was normal. The mirror was whole. No light, no boy. But Tyler knew what he'd seen. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. Instead, he watched every screen in the house, waiting because the TV didn't just show him, it showed what was coming next. For the first time in days, Tyler stepped outside. The sun was bright, too bright, making him squint and blink like a mole coming into daylight. He told his mum he needed a break and walked to the library, hoping books and normal air would clear his head. But every screen along the way pulled at him. Storefront TVs, reflections in car windows, even the black mirrors of switched-off phones. He saw shapes where there were none, flickers at the corner of his vision, familiar figures that vanished when he turned his head. At the library, he buried himself in old tech manuals, CRT television signals, phantom channels. There was almost nothing. But in one dusty microfiche record, he found a clipped article. Teen found dead in basement. TV was still on. The photo of the boy looked like him. Same shaggy hair, same room layout. The date, 1994. That night, the TV was back on. Still unplugged this time. Tyler didn't run. He walked straight to the screen. It was showing his living room. Empty dot until he entered the frame. On the screen, he watched himself from behind. Slowly, Screen Tyler turned around and smiled. His mouth moved. "Come closer." He leaned in. Static hissed. The TV flickered, then began to cycle, rapidly rooms, streets, mirrors, hospital corridors, people screaming, some calling his name. Then black, a whisper, through the speakers this time. "You're almost here." The next morning, Tyler noticed something deeply wrong. All the screens in the house were black, not off, but active, humming quietly like a breath held in. The digital clock blinked 3:07, even though sunlight was pouring in through the blinds. His phone wouldn't turn on. His mum's phone just displayed a spinning wheel. "Must be some kind of outage," she muttered, staring at the dead radio on the counter. Even the microwave blinked nonsense characters. Tyler said nothing. He'd barely slept. That dream, the figure on the screen, the voice whispering it remembers, felt more like memory than nightmare. Back at the library, he searched the archives again, retracing the forum posts from the VHS thread. One led to a comment buried. In a conspiracy blog, the last channel was real. Ask Dr. Evan Lurie. He found the name again, Dr. Lurie, a parapsychologist who published papers on broadcast hauntings and the residual psychic signatures of media signals. He had vanished in 1996. No death record. Just gone. The last trace, a listing for a TV. Repair shop on 9th Street. Tyler rode there at sunset. The building looked abandoned, faded brick, boarded windows, the faded sign, easy signal repair. Inside, it was a graveyard of dead technology. Dozens of old CRTs, VCRs, antennas tangled like skeletons. Dust coated everything except one TV in the back corner. It was on. It was unplugged. The screen showed a small office. The camera was shaking, slightly. In the center, a man mid-40s, disheveled beard, bloodshot, eyes sat, talking to the camera. No sound. The video glitched. Jagged text scrolled across the screen. The signal is a loop. You don't watch it, it watches you. The man suddenly turned, startled, his head twisting unnaturally, like yanked by something off screen. A shadow moved behind him. The screen pixelated violently. More text. It came through the static. If you see it, it sees you. The feed ended. Behind Tyler, every TV in the room flickered to life. One by one, each screen displayed Tyler's face, not reflected, not real time, but wrong. In every screen, he was smiling and waving. Asterisk Tyler bolted from the shop, lungs burning. His reflection hadn't followed, but something had dotted home. He slammed the door behind him, hands shaking. His mum shouted something from the kitchen, but it sounded far away, distorted, like a recording slowed down. He ran to the basement. The TV was still there, still unplugged, still on, it showed him, but not a reflection. A recording he watched. Himself from the angle of the stairs, watching the TV. Then the angle switched now from above, from behind. Shots of him pacing, sleeping, flinching. Footage that shouldn't exist. The screen flickered and the basement grew cold. His breath turned visible. On the screen, the Tyler being shown looked up and smiled eerily. "Come in," it whispered, "except." The sound wasn't coming from the TV. It came from behind him. He turned, nothing. But the air felt charged, like a thunderstorm waiting to snap. Panic took over. He grabbed his dad's hammer from the old toolbox and smashed the screen. It shattered into pieces. Sparks flew. Silence followed. Then, from the shards scattered, on the floor, a dozen miniature screens flickered on. Each showed a different room in the house. His mum washing dishes, his empty bedroom, the hallway, and then the basement. But now a figure was entering from the left side of the frame. Slowly, same in each screen. Tall, black, head tilted unnaturally sideways. A smile too wide, stitched into shadow. The figure looked into the camera, looked. Into Tyler, the voice returned, across all the shards at once. "You looked back. Now we remember you." Every light in the house died. The screens went black, and the thing in the basement wasn't on screen anymore. It was with him. Tyler didn't scream. He couldn't. The dark had weight now thick, pressing in on him like a blanket soaked in fear. He reached out blindly, knocking over boxes as he groped toward the stairs. His foot caught on a cable, sending him crashing to the basement floor. Something shifted behind him. He scrambled up and sprinted up the stairs. The door wouldn't budge. It felt welded shut. From behind, a low hum rose, the kind only old electronics make when they're charging something unnatural. Light returned, but only from the basement. A bluish-white glow spilled upward from the broken TV like moonlight poured wrong. Tyler turned. Every screen shard was hovering now, weightless, turning like the inner workings of a mechanical eye. And then they synced. The shards formed, circle in the air, floating and spinning fast. Images began flashing through them like a zoetrope tiller at school. Tyler at the library, Tyler in his sleep, but not as memories. These were recordings, footage taken from angles that should have been impossible. Each image flickered faster, showing versions of Tyler, some crying, some screaming, some just ... staring. Lost, he realized they weren't just watching him. They were recordings of him from other timelines, other choices, other versions. One image held. It showed his bedroom, tomorrow night, Tyler, asleep. And behind him, the dark figure, finally stepping out from the static and placing a hand on his shoulder. The projection shut off. The shards fell like dead leaves. Tyler dropped to his knees. There was no outsmarting it, no running from it. You didn't escape. The channel, you joined the broadcast, and it was nearly his turn. Behind him, the basement TV lit up again. The static buzzed, but this time it wasn't random. It was counting down 0 hours, 0 minutes and 10 seconds. 00 la, 09. Tyler stood, heart thudding like a broken drum. 10 seconds until what? Then the screen changed. A blinking red light in the corner. Rec. His broadcast had begun. Asterisk, the timer vanished. The screen on the basement TV now showed alive. Feed of Tyler, this Tyler standing right there, staring into it. But the angle was impossible. The image wasn't from a camera in the room. It was from somewhere deeper, a place where cameras shouldn't exist. Tyler backed away, but the version on the screen didn't move forward. He bolted up the stairs again. This time the door gave way. He burst into the kitchen. His mum looked up, startled. "Tyler, what the hell's going on?" He opened his mouth to speak, but the lights flickered, and for just a moment, her face glitched, like a corrupted video file. He blinked. She was back to normal. "Tyler, don't. Watch the TV," he blurted. "Whatever you do, don't. Too late." The living room TV came on by itself. No remote, no input, no power, and it was broadcasting the same scene. Him, standing in the basement. But now, the figure in the background, the thing was closer. Reaching, his mum gasped. "What is that?" Tyler grabbed her arm. "Don't look at it. Come with me." But she didn't move. She was staring into the screen, frozen, mouth slightly open. The static was whispering now, clearer than ever. "Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned." He pulled her, but her feet didn't move. Her skin was cold, her body stiff. It wasn't possession, it was transmission. She turned her head slowly, like a buffering video frame by frame, and stared directly at Tyler. Her eyes were too wide, too still, and she smiled. On the screen, the Tyler in the basement was now completely still too. Hands limp at his side, the figure behind him raised both arms and pulled him backward into the static. The broadcast cut. Tyler screamed, not just for his mother, for himself, because now he could hear it. The screen upstairs in his room had just turned on, and the countdown was starting again. Las Serandias. His second take was about to begin. Tyler ran. Past his mother, past the TV, past the whispering static that curled like smoke from every screen. His legs were jelly, but adrenaline shoved him forward. He didn't know where he was. Going, he only knew he couldn't stay. He grabbed his bike from the garage and pedaled blindly into the night. The streets were too quiet. No porch lights, no passing cars. Just the soft, crackling hum that now lived in the air like radio breath. A sound that followed him. Houses he passed flickered with blue light behind their windows. People inside stood frozen. Eyes glued to static, they were all watching. Every house was tuned in. Tyler headed for the one place no one would be watching. The old broadcasting tower. It sat abandoned on the hill outside town. No signal for years. Just rust and ghost birds. But it had once beamed light and sound to thousands. Maybe it could reverse whatever was happening. Maybe it could drown out the channel. He reached the tower and dropped his bike. The front doors had long since rotted open. Inside, dead wires hung from the ceiling like cobwebs. A wall of dusty equipment stood silent and waiting, but one screen glowed. A monitor mounted to the wall. Not plasma, not digital, CRT. The screen showed Tyler Dot again, but this time, not a live feed. This Tyler was older, hollow-eyed, slouched in a chair, lips muttering the same words on loop. "It sees me. I see it. It sees me. I see it." Then the screen changed. Now it showed the town, street by street, house by house, room by room. Every screen, every viewer, everyone watching then. The last shot, Tyler, standing right there, real dash time, from behind. He turned slowly. The dark figure was finally present. Not in glass, not on a screen here with him. "You've been recorded," it whispered, "and there's no rewind." Its hands reached out not to grab, but to press against him, like pushing into wet tape. Tyler didn't scream. He fuzzed dot glitched dot n disappeared in a flash of static. Somewhere in someone's living room, a TV turned on without command. The image, a boy sitting in a chair, staring blankly forward. He smiles.